All right, guys, it is Will here, back again, and we are out in nature for the very first episode of Walk and Talk. That's probably what it would be called. I don't know. Maybe it would be called something different, but we're going to walk. We're going to talk. It's like 85 degrees out here in Maryland. It's near the end of April. Weather's starting to get nice. I'm going to walk. I'm going to talk. I got my iPhone. I'm ready, boys and girls. Roughly 3% girls, 3% women. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, our first chat. We've talked about this topic on live streams quite a bit because this topic fascinates me. I really want to talk about this. Sorry, I got to get better about looking into the lens and not looking at my face on the screen. So I really like talking about why we do what we do. Why do we collect hot toys? Why do we collect statues? Why do we collect in art? Why do we collect 3-0, whatever we buy, right? Toys R Us, by the way. A lot of cool stuff coming from them, it looks like. Why do we do what we do? And I think more so now than ever, people are fascinated with us as collectors, why we do what we do. Because there's always that stigma, right? There's that stereotype that collectors are the 40-year-old versions of the world. We haven't grown up, that we do what we do because we're childish. But we all know that's not the case. Many of us have families, lives outside of collecting, obviously. And even if you don't, that's great. We work jobs, we have any number of responsibilities and obligations outside of collecting. So this is a small part of what we do. But the question has to be asked, why do we do it? Well, the simple answer, right, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below, but the simple answer would be, we just love it. We love these characters, we love these films, and they've connected with us in some way that has had a profound impact on our lives, which I think is actually really, really cool. That said, there's a car coming. So if there's any songs that play, copyright free, baby, copyright free. So these characters have a profound impact on what we do, how we live our lives. I think you cannot really underestimate how impactful storytelling can be when done right. And you can also not underestimate how impactful it can be when done wrong, because you could also look at how passionate people are about the Star Wars fandom, about Marvel, about any number of properties that they are passionate about, where the story doesn't go the way they want it to go or doesn't meet the quality standards that they have in their mind. You can look at me as an example at Last of Us 2, right? I absolutely adore Last of Us 1. Everyone knows that. I'm a huge fan. It's my favorite thing of all time. But Last of Us 2 didn't quite meet that same standard. So I was upset about it. I was really connected to the characters. I love them. I even put Joel and Ellie in my dissertation. I put them in the acknowledgement section or the dedication or whatever the section was. They're in there. Let the record show. So why do we spend hundreds, thousands of dollars on our collectibles? Why do we budget? Why do we create Excel sheets? Why do we, map out our displays and get so passionate about this? Well, because these characters mean something to us. And I'm willing to bet they mean something to other people too. But I think there are a lot of people out there who are just afraid to take the plunge into the collecting world. You know why? Because I think they're afraid of how they're going to be perceived. It's almost like they feel like they shouldn't be doing what they're doing when they collect, right? So I think that's something that people really factor into their decision. There's that fear of being judged harshly, right? And us collectors, we've gotten over that. We've gotten over that fear, and we've gotten past the point where, look, I like what I like. You're not doing anything bad. You're not hurting anyone. Hopefully you're not hurting yourself financially, because these things are expensive. But, right, there's nothing bad about it in moderation. If you're doing things for fun, it's a fun hobby that you can enjoy and have fun with. But I think we collect because I think at times we see something in these characters that reminds us of ourselves. Those are the characters that I tend to connect with the most. I've mentioned this maybe on a few streams here or there, where I feel that Loki, for example, Kylo Ren, there are recognizable traits, familiar traits to me, that I can see and say, wow, that's very human, right? That's very human. That's very admirable in certain ways. It's very understandable, maybe that's the better word. Those characters, not quite a ton admirable about them, here and there, I guess it depends on what scene you're talking about. But there are things that they do that are very human and logical and understandable. I'm gonna turn around. So you sort of understand these characters because you can relate to them in some way. And even if you can't, maybe it's just a cool really awesome character that you're like, damn, that's a badass mofo, right? Like Thanos. I do think you can understand certain things about Thanos. His character arc was pretty good, actually, in Infinity War. But he's just a cool character too, right? He's fun, he's exciting, he's badass, he's intimidating. There's something fascinating about a character that's imposing, a really strong villain, right? But I think we collect for any number of reasons. I think anytime I ask this question, I can almost assume what the panel is gonna say. The panel always starts by saying nostalgia. Everyone says, I start by saying, why do you collect? Why do you do what you do? And everyone says, nostalgia. I love nostalgia. I'm nostalgic for certain things. And that is true. That is true. We all are nostalgic for the characters, the properties, the films, whatever, right? But it goes a little bit deeper than that. So when the panelists start to explain why, what that nostalgia actually means to them, they give examples. They give examples about family members where they went to a movie with, maybe that family member is no longer around, or maybe something similar where it just meant a lot to them, right? That happens to me too. A lot of the figures that I have a personal connection to because of my experiences with my family and watching the films or playing the games and talking about it or just experiencing it together, right? Or with friends, close friends, where essentially I have a fond memory of that character because of X, Y, or Z experience, right? So I really like that. I think there's so many things that so many reasons you could look at a figure on your shelf and it can make you happy, right? At the end of the day, why are we really here in life, right? We're here to be happy. Of course, there are limits to that. You don't want to do crazy shit and, take drugs and do things that are bad for you. Anything can be bad in excess, right? But if we're intelligent about what we're doing and we're collecting wisely and we're budgeting and we're being responsible, you're not hurting anyone. And that's why this hobby is great, right? Because you can look at that thing on your shelf and say, damn, I feel good. I feel good looking at that. And that's hard to put a price on. Hot Toys does it. It's about $250. But for us, it's priceless, right? You can look at that figure and feel great for a myriad of reasons. So to me, it does look cool. That's a simplistic answer, right? But it also is a way to work your brain. Because I don't know about you guys, but with me, I really love working and planning out my display. I look at everything and I'm like, I'm gonna map this whole thing out, right? I'm gonna map this thing out, make sure that I have everything where I want it and I know where my collection is going. And you're building sort of this overarching plan. Isn't that exciting? It just feels really exciting. It feels like, man, I got a plan and I'm organized and I have a mission, a goal, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And also the satisfaction that you feel, whether you bought a statue or a figure, but especially a figure, if you get it in just the right pose, you're like, man, this thing is stunning. It makes me thrilled to have it on my shelf, right? What does it do for you? It does a lot. It does a lot. It may not have a practical use, but it has an emotional one. I think that's another reason we collect. Yeah, there's just so much good. There's also the community. I mean, obviously when you're first getting into this, that's not what people think of because they're not saying, oh, well, I'm gonna get, this figure because I wanna join the community. My phone battery is getting low. So as I was saying, the community, that's not really why people get into it, but it's why they stay in collecting, right? Because the community is amazing. You guys are awesome. The people that I've met in my life, the ways that I have grown and expanded and evolved because of collecting and what's happened for me in my life is pretty remarkable. And I can't say enough good things about that. And I'm sure with you guys, whether you have a YouTube channel or not, you could say the same thing. You've been to a Comic-Con before maybe, you've met people, you've interacted with people online, you've made friends. All that stuff is great. And that's another byproduct of collecting that we don't really think about when we start, but we think about while we're staying in collecting. That's why. Camaraderie, friendship, another thing hard to put a price on that, right? So for me, man, they look great, they make us happy, they work our brain, we get involved with people who are like-minded, who love similar things, they give us entertainment, we get satisfaction out of them. I mean, the list goes on and on. You guys can drop your thoughts in the comments below. But again, I think a lot of people ask, are hot toys worth the money? Whatever, Hot Toys Prime 1, J&D, whatever. Are hot toys worth the money? Or why do people do it? This is why. So share this video with them. Tell them and say, guys, there are any number of reasons that you could look at as to why people do this. And you'd be right. Maybe they'll understand, maybe they won't. But at the end of the day, you're doing what makes you happy and you're being responsible about it. And that's something to be proud of. So to me, that's what I would say. I think it's a beautiful day, and it's a beautiful day to be philosophical and happy about what we do as collectors. So yeah, I'm happy to be part of it, happy to be here with you guys, and yeah, we'll have a lot more fun times on the horizon. So let me know why you collect. Hopefully I covered everything I needed to for now. I'm sure there's any number of things that we could talk about as well, but a lot of great points being made, hopefully, anyway. I like to think so. I guess we'll see in the comments. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you're thinking. Thanks so much. Let me know if you like this segment, and we'll keep it rolling. We'll do some other ones. Anyway, peace out, guys. There's not a stop sign. I wanted to say it's a turn sign. Anyway, bye. See you later. Bye. Bye.